Sweet.
And we're recording. And I'll go in next time. I'll go in and when I go edit this, I'll put in our little sound over here.
Okay. Give a little song.
Yeah, and then
Sweet.
it ends right here, and you can welcome our audience to the show.
Welcome everyone. This is Gravity Blues. My name's Alex,
And I'm Rin.
and today we're gonna go over a bunch of different topics. Some concerning inside our atmosphere and our planet, and some outside our planet. And that's kind of going to be the general layout for most of these podcasts. We're going to kind of first go through things that we're typically pretty involved in conversation wise, like sports, music, movies, any kind of consumption like that you can think of. And then also try and talk about some a little bit more niche things, like what's going on in space, or different like science discoveries that are kind of popping up every week. So it's going to be a big range of kind of topics. But yeah, starting off, we're definitely going to be kind of going over some of the things that we're seeing a lot of, like specifically like movies, or sports for instance. So, but yeah, that's kind of the general layout of our show, of our podcast.
Yeah, there we go. Well spoken. I think that's a good
Hmm.
description of what we're doing here. Um, we're gonna fully disclose this is a second try at this episode. The first time
Yeah.
we had some technical issues as we're learning how to work this fancy tech.
Yep.
Um, free download off the internet.
Yeah, second time's the charm, though. I think we've done some test recordings, and
Yeah,
it sounded good.
let's
So I think
let's
we're
hope
okay.
it works
We
out.
we didn't Yeah, we didn't do that the first time, so I guess that's
Well, that
something we
and
learned.
last time too, the we got halfway through and your video just cut out, so that was a little bit.
Yeah, OBS was just being weird, and still being weird. So, but we're kind of working around that right
And
now.
let me
But
ask, because we're speaking of
mhm.
technology,
Yes.
do do androids dream of IPAs?
As we discussed last time, I believe they do. Maybe not starting off, in their life as an android, but I think as they become more, accustomed to different beers, and the culture, they're gonna start getting a little snobby about what they're picking for drink of choice, and I think they're gonna go with the heavy hitters
I was
in
thinking
the
about this
IPAs.
a little bit, and I was thinking about how a lot of IPAs that I like, not all of them, but a
Hmm.
lot of the IPAs I like are considered juicy, or hazy, right?
Mm.
And they kind of
Hmm.
have that
Yes.
juicy flavors. And I just think about my phone. Yeah, I have an iPhone, not an Android, but if it was an Android and it starts to die, it's craving the juice. It's
Yep.
if it's at 20%, it's saying, "Give me that
That's good
juice."
thinking.
So I'm
Yeah.
saying
Yeah.
it probably does want
Batteries.
IPA. It probably says,
Yeah.
give me that juicy IPA."
Once the juice wants to get a little hazy too at the same time,
Oh
to
yeah.
top it off. I think that's a good way of thinking of it, because as I've gone, I wouldn't say an IPA is my first choice, of
Mm.
beer, when I'm drinking, but when I do, it's usually a good time. So
Are you
I,
trying to
I
say
think
you're
they
not a robot?
I try not to be, it's hard to, distinguish,
I
in
see.
today's age, what's
Yeah.
real and what's robot, what's AI.
Oh yeah.
So,
This is an
yeah, so
AI
that's
free show. I'll
yeah,
put that
right, right.
putting
Yeah,
that
this is
out there.
all done by hand,
Yeah.
as you can see in our logo,
Oh yeah.
beautifully drawn, and
Good point. Speaking of,
mhm,
my
mhm,
sister Missy did this logo for us, did the art.
yeah.
And we're thankful. I asked her if she's in her second to last year of art school right now, and I asked her if we could shout her out or anything, or like put a link
Hmm.
up, and she said
Hmm.
eventually when she has one.
Okay.
So we're
Okay, like a little
down the
like
road.
an art page, social media kind
Yeah,
of thing. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, shout out
And
Missy.
I just bought actually. David, there was like an auction for some of her art that she did at
Mm.
school, and it went on there. It was like starting at $15, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get this.
Oh, oh,
And
that's easy.
well, then people started trying to outbid me, so I had to
Mhm.
actually really fight for it, and
Oh, really?
ended up
Hmm.
being 60. Yeah, but
Okay.
I won it. So
There you
I went
go.
in there as
Add to your growing collection.
yeah,
You
I
know.
went in there as anonymous, so hopefully she
Hmm.
doesn't get super mad at me for buying the art. But
Hmm. What was she? Was it kind of like? Was she only selling like that one piece, or was it kind
yeah,
of a showcase? Okay.
it was one piece of hers, and there's a bunch of
Mm.
other pieces. It just ended yesterday, or else I'd shout out the whole auction. But
Yeah.
uh, yeah, I was like, sweet, I got some new art to put in my house, and I was like, will you frame it for me since I paid $60? He goes, no.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
Yeah, yeah, that's not in the. She'll
no,
charge you extra
yeah.
$10, packing fee.
If
So.
that's a lot more, for the like the
Mhm.
frames are kind of crazy for art.
Yeah,
It
sometimes there can be more than whatever you buy.
yeah. So we'll see
Like.
how that ends up, but
Hmm. Yeah, like I'm not even for like paintings, but I've been thinking about getting some of these like kind of like vinyl. I guess they're not frames, but they're kind of like just like ledges, to like
mm,
put on your wall or whatever of whatever you're listening to. And those things get crazy expensive too, or even like they have frames for those as well. And it's just like I feel like there's no way it's like actually even close to that expensive to make, but they know people are gonna just pay the
yeah,
price, because
classic.
most people aren't going to build it themselves. So, just gotta, I guess, you know, give in. So,
Yeah, it's just a typical thing, that obviously doesn't cost that much. If you did it yourself, you probably could,
hmm
but it would be a lot of effort.
hmm
I just put up curtains in my house. I can tell you
Ooh.
that is a hellish experience because getting them like straight is so tough. And then
Mm.
if they're a little off, you have to like oh my gosh, it was really tough. It was high
Redo the
up
whole
too
thing.
and I didn't have a ladder, so I was,
Hmm.
trying to do things that you shouldn't do when you're putting things in
Yeah.
the wall. So
Yeah. Yeah. I'm running right now. So I'm just like, so when it comes to stuff like that, I'm just so lazy to like
oh yeah.
putting like, I want my place to look nice, but also I'm just like, if I make it look too nice, then I gotta like, I'm gonna have to take it all down eventually and
Yeah.
redo it somewhere else. But Um, yeah, I feel like there's a bunch of things like that I probably should, add to my living space, but they'll get here when they get here, I guess.
Yeah, that's how it goes, It's
Hmm.
I've been thinking about that just because it's Christmas time. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
curtains would be nice because I don't really love the blinds for the living room. I was like, I want some.
Yeah.
I'll like gonna show you guys what we got going on there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's good,
Ooh.
good vibes in here now. But
Yeah. Yeah. You got
it's
the city skyline in the
oh yeah,
background
gotta
too.
show
Yeah.
that the skyline.
Adds to it.
Yep.
Yeah, I wish that's one thing about mine because I'm right on the lake, but I don't really have there's not really with how my apartment is angled. There's not really a good spot. Like if I go out on my balcony, I can
Hmm.
see the lake, but it's not really like anywhere in my house where I could just like be like, oh look at that, it's
Yeah.
like kind of clear view. But
Yeah.
there are a few like in my complex where you can, but they got to pay a lot more,
Mm,
for those. So. I think I'm just gonna, suck it up because I could just walk outside and be like, oh, it's right there.
yeah.
So,
Controversial thing. Okay. So at
mhm.
work today, we had like a break where we did like a Family Feud, and this is like we do this at one time every year around Christmas.
Mm,
And there one of the questions was what name lakes in Ohio,
mhm.
and the Great Lake isn't in Ohio. I was kind of like that was the one that was the number one on, but I was like it's
Oh, so you're saying like it's like because it's partially in Ohio,
I
like
mean
like
we border it, but it's not is it really like is it
yeah,
inside the
I guess
state?
yeah, that's a weird thing because it's like yeah, how does that? It's not like an internal lake.
Yeah.
It's like a but I guess you would say I think it's still I don't know how that works because it's like with the lake, it's like halfway across it becomes Canada. But is that other
Is the
half
border
is that
in the
Ohio?
middle of the water or is the
I,
border
I
on the
think it is
land
because
beside?
I think it is because the islands like Kelly's Island and Put-in
Oh,
Bay,
true. No,
those
that's
are
true.
Ohio technically. So I think
Okay.
anywhere in between there, is going to be is going to be
Yeah.
still Ohio. But it like I said, it's it's only partially in Ohio. You
Yeah.
know,
Okay.
so yeah, it's not like internal like some of the. There's a few smaller
Yeah, I
ones, but
wonder how it works though, because obviously, it doesn't work like it's like 2 miles from something in the ocean, right? And
mm-hmm,
there's like, or I don't know what the miles is, but it's so many miles away from the land is like
mm-hmm,
the owned by the country. And
mm-hmm,
so I wonder if it's the same rules for the lake or if they just divvied it up a long time ago and it says, the water changes a little colder and they're like, this is our spot, Canadian water now,
mm-hmm.
that
Yep.
kind of thing.
Hmm.
But yeah, interesting.
Yeah, I'll have to ask some of my. I'll have to ask some fishermen up here.
Yeah.
What they know. They know the layout
They
of
can't
that.
go up too far because those are Canada's
No,
fish.
no, they gotta call it in or whatever and have their passport on them, or yeah,
Oh
they'll
yeah.
get arrested. Yeah.
Yeah. That is something to look into. That is an important thing.
Mhm. Yeah.
Speaking of things up north,
No.
um, let's move on to a sad
Mm,
conversation we had when we tried to do this last time too, and
mhm.
it's a bummer, so we don't have to spend too long. But
Yeah.
obviously,
It's a new week.
it is a new week and it's playoff week, so OSU lost the game against the team up north,
Hmm.
but still made the playoffs. What are your thoughts
Yeah.
about that? And then we talk more about Tennessee instead of talking about the loss.
Are you saying like thoughts on like still making the playoffs even though like still being in the playoffs even though we lost to
Yeah.
Michigan, or just losing? It is a really weird feeling as a fan. Like for example, like um I think like you like usually like say we not even like thinking of the Michigan game. We're just playing in the playoff game, playing against Tennessee at home. Like that's huge. Like I would be thinking about trying to get like tickets or something. Because I had tickets for all the Big Ten games this past year. So I'm like I got to keep going. But it's like that Michigan game just put such a bad taste in
Mm-hmm.
my mouth. And other Buckeye fans' mouths, and I just like I'm gonna watch the game. I'm just not that interested.
Yeah.
It's sad. It's really sad.
Well, and I'm sure it's going to be sold out, filled with Buckeye fans. But I've been seeing like Columbus Dispatch stuff all week. Is the
Yeah,
is the stadium going to be filled with Tennessee fans? They
I,
added
I
flights
saw.
over.
Yeah, there is an estimate because they're only like if they're Nashville's, I think it's like a 5 hour drive or so, 5 to 6
Mm.
hour drive. Um,
Is
and there
Nashville?
was like that. There's a ticket fiasco where they gave like codes out to like alumni. Or like season ticket holders to get like tickets
Mm.
for the game, and it was like some really simple code, and I got like leaked to like a bunch of like different like Tennessee fan
Wow.
boards and stuff like that. So like there were a bunch of people mad about that, and I saw an estimate where it was like about might be up to 30% Tennessee fans, which it's not a majority, but for a road game, that's pretty
That's
big.
that is uh surprising for Ohio State, but it is the reality I think for other Ohio teams. Like
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you go
it
to
has not
a
been a
Jackets
good
game
year
here,
of football.
the Jackets are like usually like 20% Jackets fans, 80% the away team, even if it's like San Jose. And you're like, how are
Yeah.
there San Jose fans in Columbus? But
Yeah, yeah, like it would make more sense for like this past week it was Browns versus Chiefs, and I saw
Mhm.
there were, gonna be a bunch of Chiefs fans, especially with the Browns being really bad this year. Um but and then also apparently Taylor Swift was there, so people
Mm,
were trying to get tickets, but she didn't actually show up. So um, that was kind of silly.
classic.
But yeah, I don't know. Like Kirk Herbstreit, though, he was like saying that like it might be better for Ryan Day if it was in Tennessee because I'm. That we
Ooh,
were booing. I'm gonna be honest, I was booing at the end of that Michigan game, and there's
yeah,
going to be more boos at that Tennessee game from OSU fans if
yeah,
the same stuff is happening. Like it was ridiculous. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Like it's not really going to be like I don't think there's going to be any home advantage,
yeah.
whatsoever. Unless they start like if they come out really hot in the the fans get into it, then I think yeah, maybe then you're gonna get something. But this season they've been really slow starters, so I don't know
Yeah,
if that's gonna be possible.
I do think it helps us because it's a nighttime game, right? It's an
Yeah,
8 p.m.er. Yeah, I think
yeah,
that's a good thing for us because I think
yeah.
anytime, usually Ohio State, especially your home, you play at night, like usually that's a good thing. But you're right. If they don't start off hot, it could get cold real quick, and
It's
then
gonna get
people get upset.
nasty.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's gonna be like instead of like 30%, it's gonna sound like instead of sounding like 30% Tennessee fans, it's gonna sound like 80% because there's
yeah,
gonna be OSU fans joining in there with them. You know, like
yeah,
it's just a rough situation. Like, and it's like funny saying that like we're in the playoffs and we're saying like, oh, this is like such a bad thing, you know, but you look at the season, like this is not how it should have been going, you know. So yeah, we'll see. They got to win, I think, like 4 games to win the Natty, like
mm,
three to get there. So um, it's possible, but I don't know. They definitely don't have the best path compared to some of the other teams.
yeah. And I just was reading about, we don't have to say their name and stuff, but
Mhm.
our old quarterback balled out this
Mhm.
year and was 10th in the Heisman race, and like,
That's
yeah.
crazy. That's crazy to
So
me.
so again, another reflection of Ryan Day just being like, he can recruit these quarterbacks that are stars, but every single time they leave and they're better, you know, like that. Oh,
Than him.
there
So
we go. Sorry,
like
you
I don't
froze
know.
there for a second,
Oh, did I?
but you're back
Okay,
now.
can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah, I was just saying that I think Will Howard still had better stats than him this year, even though
Then
Kyle
he
McCord was playing at Syracuse.
Kyle McCord compared to last year.
No, like compared to
This year, Kyle McCord versus Will Howard.
yeah,
No, that he didn't.
he did though.
No, I think Kyle McCord threw like more touchdowns and yards.
I'm not sure, but regardless, like he was also at Syracuse. It's not like he's playing the same like
Yeah,
level,
no,
you know.
absolutely. But then you could
Mhm.
also argue that he has his weapons aren't as good. You know.
That's true. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, he's playing. It's a weird comparison. I'll just say this: he definitely had a very strong like end to season. You know, because I think they beat someone. I don't know if it was Georgia. I don't think it was Georgia. It was some team that. Was it Clemson? It was one of the teams they beat. I can't remember, and it was like a good way, pretty good win to end the season. So
Mm.
um, but like I don't know, one of his comments I thought was kind of silly because he was just like, um, you know, like he was like, it all comes full circle, but like you also threw the game-ending pick against them last year, so I don't know, but it
They both
partially
threw
was
two
Ryan Day's
picks. They
fault.
both threw two picks in the game. So
Oh, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like
yeah,
it wasn't like he was like he was going crazy
that's
against them
that's
either.
kind of
So
my point. Like, we didn't
mhm.
really upgrade, and that he had a better
No,
year this year than he did last year. So like, I don't know.
yeah,
It is a little bit like a, huh? You know what I mean? But
hmm
and obviously, we have other, when Texans quarterback, uh, CJ Stroud.
CJ.
When CJ went
hmm
to the NFL, he played way better for the Texans
Oh
than he did
yeah,
at Ohio State.
yeah. His transition was so much like more smoother. I thought,
Yeah.
compared to how they were having him play here. He didn't play scared like he did here. So
So
yeah, I
yeah.
don't know. I'm definitely ready. I'm definitely ready for a change of leadership
Yep.
if that's on the horizon. But I don't know if the boosters will be able to afford
Yeah.
that
Maybe.
loss. So
Maybe. Something to keep talking about, keep looking into. We can also have a little moment of silence here. as my fantasy team was officially knocked out of the playoffs,
Oh no.
uh,
Oh
which
no.
it's okay. I didn't make the playoffs, but we missed by one game. Um, it's actually
I
really
was I
sad.
was pulling for you. I was
Well,
pulling for you this week.
I'm on a four, including this weekend. I'm on a 4 game winning streak. Okay, but it still wasn't
Oh.
enough. It's because I needed somebody else to
Oh.
lose, and yeah, I'm they had their best game all year, and I was like, no.
Uh,
But yeah, so classic. I'm rooting for you now. I think you're still in it,
yeah.
right? So
Yeah, I actually had a pretty solid week. Um it was funny though, and so in my two other leagues, we're in the playoffs right now, or this past weekend
oh,
was
they already
the
started.
first week of the playoffs. And the one game I had Josh. I had four players that were in. Yeah, I think I had four players that were in that Lions Bills game.
Mm,
In total combined, I got like 120 points from them, just from those players from that game. I was
yeah.
just like, this is the best time ever for this to happen. Um, but yeah, I think the other league though I got knocked out, so I'm still alive in two of them. But
Okay.
ours is winner takes all though, so
Yeah.
I'm really rooting for that one, because I want to. The other one, I think it's like you get like 60% or seventy
Maybe
percent of it.
we should change it and make it a consolation. Half of it goes to the consolation playoff winner. Which could be
Mm,
me. So
mm.
I
Are you talking about the lower? Yeah, the lower
the
bracket.
losers bracket. Okay, we call that.
You guys can get like 1%. You guys
Yeah.
can get hey, you can get what you put in.
Okay, you get your
You
what you
get
put
what
it
you put
back.
in.
That's not bad.
Yeah, right.
I like that idea.
Hmm.
Okay. Well, we'll pitch it to the rest of the group later. Let's
Yeah,
talk a little bit. Let's just jump into film. Okay.
yeah.
And usually we talk about good movies. I kind of want to talk about bad movies, and especially because this last year, or they've just announced, although it kind of was unannounced, that the Craven movie is the death of Sony's Spider-Man villain
Hmm.
universe or whatever. They
Yep.
actually came out and said they might make more, which is nuts because are all terrible. But
Oh, why? Like,
yeah,
the,
but
I, are they actually making like a profit off these? Like a profit to like
so
justify making more
I
of them?
think they're like slightly profitable. Obviously the Venom movies were profitable, but
Yeah,
the other ones I don't think have been, or at least not very much. But
yeah.
I'm especially with Craven that just came out. I haven't seen it, but everything I've seen about it is that it's awful, and it blows my mind how that can be with how good that
Hmm.
cast is. I would like to
Yeah.
see you know Aaron Taylor Johnson like shoot up and be successful, but
Hmm. Yeah. Especially, I feel like just like when I heard he was playing that role, like I'm like, oh, this seems like perfect. This is a perfect casting,
yeah,
and like it definitely would have been like even like the just the like Marvel Disney movies, like those have been kind of hit or miss
true.
recently. But I still think like, and of course, like we said, we haven't seen it yet, so I can't like comment on like an actual
Specifics.
movie.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, from what we've heard, it's like I don't even want to see it.
Yeah.
Like it's sounding that bad. Um, but like I think it definitely would have been taken uh, care of much better if it were in those hands. So
Yeah.
it's kind of sad to like see it, just kind
Yeah.
of like a half effort kind of thing. Maybe not even half effort, like quarter effort with like we said, like pretty good cast too.
Yeah. Super disappointing. I mean, Russell Crowe. Obviously, you think it's gonna be. I saw the trailer and I was like, this doesn't look awesome. But
Hmm.
but you're like, but it could be cool, like in the actual
Yeah.
movie, and then, but I guess it wasn't. But
Mhm.
I do have a game based on this Sony universe. Okay.
Oh,
Um,
I'm gonna be terrible at this, the Sony universe,
no,
because
no, no, no,
I've
no.
I've seen Venom and
Well,
Morbius.
that's okay because it's not actually based on the universe itself, but just the idea of
Okay,
Spider-Man
okay,
villains. Okay, I've got a
ooh,
list of Spider-Man villains. I'm gonna read their
okay,
name, and I want you. kind of guess like what their power is. Okay.
Okay. And these are like just like some like kind of unknown villains, or do
They're
you think I will
just
know?
I'm just on Wikipedia and
Okay.
I've scrolled down. It's a page called List of Spider-Man Enemies, and I've scrolled
Hmm.
down and there's a category called Other Villains, and that's what I'm going to be reading from.
Okay, cool. I'm excited.
Okay. So first one we have is Cold Heart.
Cold hard
Cold Heart.
heart. Oh,
Yep.
okay, cool. It's like he's like my name. I'm gonna just say some kind of some kind of icy guy. You know.
Uh, she has
Oh, she. Okay.
cryonic swords that can freeze people, but her main thing
Okay.
is she's an expert martial artist.
Mm.
So there you go.
Just a little bit of a combo right
Yeah, a
there.
little bit. There, a lot of these are like kind of a hat on a hat. That's kind of the Spider-Man way.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. I'll try and think of a few like different abilities
love
they
it,
might have. You know.
love it. The next one is Lycanite. Lycanite, maybe.
Like I guess I think of like dynamite, so something like explosive, but like a cat kind of
Okay,
explosive cat kind of thing, you know?
okay. It's actually not that far.
Okay.
This character
Okay.
debuted in 1965. She's described as a horrific, giant, powerful flying monster from outer space that shoots burning acid.
Okay. I
And that's pretty
love
cool.
that.
It
We need a
says,
Lycanite
I
movie
know, give us
after
the
the Craven.
Lycanite movie.
Come
If they're
on.
gonna keep making,
I
like,
want it.
because they
I need
almost
it.
made the one with Bad Bunny. Have you heard about this? They
Oh
were
yeah.
gonna make El
What's
Muerto, which I've never even heard of that guy,
yeah.
but
Yeah, I never yeah, I did remember hearing rumors about Bad Bunny being some kind of like it was some yeah, some Hispanic
yeah,
superhero,
it
but
sounds interesting, but like not a character that I was familiar with. So I was like, okay.
no. No, not at
Um,
all.
okay, here we go. Next up, Spider Side.
Um, Spider Man, Spider Woman, Spider Side. Um,
This one's don't overthink it.
he just is a Spider Man sidekick. I don't know.
He's evil Spider Man basically.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, I guess it is villain, so no, he'd be the sidekick. So okay, so just evil.
Mm.
Like,
He can control his
hmm,
physical makeup on a molecular level, alter
hmm.
his mass density state. But okay, so first it says he's just an evil Spider-Man with Spider-Man powers. But then later in this, it says he can control his molecular level. So that is like,
That's kind of cool.
yeah, that's
That's kind
a
of like
crazy.
who's that one? It's kind of like that one dude from the I forget his name from the Spider Verse.
Oh yeah,
The,
the Spot guy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like him a little bit.
Oh, and here we go. We'll end with El Muerto. What do you think El Muerto's power is?
Um, um oh, is this this is the Bad Bunny
Yeah,
one,
it's Bad
right?
Bunny. Yep.
Um, I'll just say, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. He's got some kind of like some kind of weather powers, you know, like I'm thinking of just like El Nino, you know,
Yeah.
just like hurricanes and stuff
Oh
right
man.
now, you know. I'm gonna
He
say some
uh
weather wind power, you know.
he was trained by his father, and then he gained the mystical mask and lineage of the El Muertos, granting the user superhuman strength.
So he's like Black Panther, pretty
Pretty
much.
much, but it's a mask. The mask gives him superpowers, and he fights against
Okay,
his fellow
it's
luchador,
not the
El Dorado.
hmm
So there you
hmm.
go. He fights El
That's kind
Dorado,
of cool.
who wants to take his mask.
Huh.
That's a fun thing. I think that would have been a bad
I
movie,
don't
to
know
be
about a whole
honest.
movie,
But
you know.
yeah,
Yeah,
uh,
but
yeah, interesting. So there you
that's
go.
cool. Now, more you know. I'm sure there's like tons of like villains in that list.
Oh yeah, I mean those are just some of the others.
Yeah, like the oddballs.
I mean there's the arch enemies, which I bet you've heard of, like Doctor
Hmm.
Octopus and
Yeah,
Norman
Doc Ock.
Osborn. Eddie Brock, yeah, those are
Yeah,
classics. But I was like, these
yeah,
are more fun just to do the
yeah,
randos.
yeah. I never heard maybe outside of the one that El Muerto like once or
Yeah,
twice. Outside of those, I don't think I've heard of them.
yeah. Some of the other ones are in stuff like it has listed here like the Lizard and Craven the Hunter, and
Yeah,
which
I
yeah.
I think Rhino was
Oh,
in
true. In one of
the Craven movie.
the Amazing
Um,
Spider-Man movies too.
yeah, yeah. There were some people that were like, there's just like a clip of it, and it was pretty much like a I don't know if, how to even really describe it, you know.
Mm.
But actually, I didn't think it looked
Of Rhino?
terrible.
Is he
Like,
like a Rhino dude, or is he the
yeah,
in the robot suit?
he's he's like a rhino dude,
Oh,
yeah. Which I think that always it looks silly, but like they didn't do like it didn't feel like too like I guess like tacky, you
okay.
know. Um, but yeah, it was kind of I thought it didn't look bad, but there were some people who were like, "This is the worst thing ever." I'm like, "There's probably a lot worse things, in this movie that we can be
Yeah.
complaining about, But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm gonna see it, I'm definitely gonna wait until it's on some
Oh yeah.
streaming service.
I don't think I'll be seeing it. Like I like those movies. I loved Spider-Man as a kid growing up.
Hmm.
But I mean, I like superhero movies, but I really just like all these Sony Spider-Man villain movies. None of them have been good.
No,
Literally, almost zero redeeming parts.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, I like honestly don't think I'll watch it ever. But
hmm.
I have seen a clip though, from the Madam Web movie where they have so much product placement in that movie. It is insane, including like the final
Oh
act.
yeah,
They like shoot a
hmm.
car off a roof and it like hits like a Coca-Cola sign and they're like, drink your Coke. And it's like, what? It's like just in the movie like that. But yeah. So
I'm curious,
absolute
like,
insanity.
yeah, I'm curious if like those companies give them incentives, like if you have this many product
Oh yeah.
placements, we'll give you a little bit of bonus to the contract.
Yeah, that's the real reason these movies are making money. It's because they're not
Hmm.
really movies, they're just long form ads.
I guess I don't really understand that because maybe subconsciously it does, but if I see that in a movie, I'm not going to be like, "Oh, I'm going to go to the concession stand and go buy a Coke right now."
Yeah.
Like, I, I don't know.
They
There's sometimes with like advertisements like that, I don't see it actually like making people interested in the product. That makes me dislike the product more that
yeah.
I'm like being force fed it.
I do really like
Um,
the NFL Uber Eats ads, and it's like
mm.
Matthew McConaughey, and he's like,
Oh yeah, the food
yeah,
one.
he's like, football's created to make us fun. But I'm like, that's pretty funny. It doesn't make
Yeah,
me want to order food, but I'm like,
no.
now I'm thinking about you, Matthew McConaughey.
It's right. He's kind of spitting,
Yeah,
like the Jerry Rice thing,
yeah, that's pretty
like
good. There's like
the
a few of them,
turnovers.
right? But they're pretty good.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the Wisconsin people with the cheese in their heads and stuff.
Better than the fumble Ruski.
Oh yeah, it is crazy. They have like the whole team of the
Yeah,
Chiefs doing ads now, including the coaches.
your team actually fumbles and then it cuts the commercial and it's just fumble Ruski.
I think that Andy Reid is like the only coach that could do these ads though. Like
Yeah.
at least
Oh
in a
yeah.
way that isn't totally, goofy.
Yeah, I don't even like mind those like was it State Farm ads?
Yeah.
I actually don't even mind those. I think they're usually pretty good, but I don't know, maybe my opinion will change if they win again this year.
Did they make you want to buy insurance?
Oh, I already have State Farm, so it's
Okay, so
like,
they already got you. They
yeah, well, they got my parents, so
fair
I'll
enough.
say that. Yeah, I'm just like I don't really like feel like exploring other insurances because I
Fair,
just have everything already set up. So I'm like,
fair.
I'll just stick with them. But if I wasn't with them, I don't think it would. I'll be like, I don't want to stick to whatever I have unless it's like really bad.
Yeah. I did like when they used to have it was Baker, right? He would or was that Progressive?
Nah, that was progressive. Yeah,
I liked the Baker Progressive. At home,
yeah,
just playing video games in the
lo-
TV.
locked out of
Yeah, that
uh,
was actually a pretty funny commercial.
yeah.
Like the where he dropped his keys.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. I like to see
Uh,
him thriving again.
yeah, I wonder if he'll get back in the. I don't think I've seen any commercials with him except for the like I always see him in like the Heisman
Oh,
commercials.
true. Yeah.
But like standalone commercials, I don't think I've seen any with
Yeah.
him
He's
recently.
got to come back to Cleveland.
Uh, like I think I've said this in the past. It's probably better for him if he avoids this
Almost
that
certainly.
city.
Almost certainly. But
Yeah,
but you never
it'll be
know.
good times though. He could be like it'll be like 10 years down the road, and he's like
As like an old backup.
yeah. I'll take him. I'll take him, man.
Okay. Well, that's good. I think we can move on here. Let's talk for
Yeah,
a second. I did spend just a quick moment on
yeah.
cocktails and making
Hmm.
cocktails. You know, I like to make cocktails.
Yes,
Um,
you're
so
very good. You got the
well,
whole you got your whole little your little kitchen. You know,
oh
I'm
yeah,
very impressed.
you know, it's a joy. So gotta
Mhm.
invest in it. But so tell me, what's your go-to cocktail? What do you order? And if you have every option,
Well, this time of the year, definitely a White Russian. I gotta and it is a seasonal thing for me. But yeah, this time of the year, White Russian. I gotta bring my own ingredients though to the family Christmas party because last time
ooh,
there was nothing. There's nothing there. So I need to just bring my own stuff and
yeah,
make sure it's supplied. So, but yeah, like, and I'd say like during the summer or just any time of the year, just I like a Moscow Mule too. Like,
mm,
can't go wrong with that. Um, but yeah, nothing ever. I do like trying new things though. But yeah, nothing ever like I'm like too crazy about, or I'm like
yeah.
I gotta get this every time. I'm usually open to try new things if I go to somewhere new. So,
I just got like a fancy espresso maker, and so I've been
mm,
making some espresso martinis.
yeah,
Especially be mixing some Baileys in there too. This is kind of like the secret code, the cheat code.
mm, mm-hmm,
Baileys in with just like the regular recipe, dude. It makes it so freaking good. It's
yeah,
like this is delicious. I've got also like really nice espresso beans that have like a chocolatey flavor to them. That
ooh,
I'm like, okay, this
a
is how.
little dessert.
Yeah, if you want espresso martini, that's how to do it. Definitely put some Baileys in there. Baileys
Yeah.
actually, makes most things better, including White Russian. Make the
Yeah.
like the I don't know what you'd call that, like a a Protestant Russian or a white
Yeah.
Protestant, but or something. I don't know. But, uh,
I don't think I've ever had anything that had Bailey's in it that tasted bad. Like it's just unless you throw it in something just totally gross, then yeah, maybe there's no saving it. But yeah, Bailey's is just I feel like it's a cheat code
it
for
is. It just
those
is.
kinds of drinks.
Yeah, it's just a delicious thing to mix in your drinks. So yeah, absolutely love White Russian. Love a espresso martini. During the
Yeah.
summer though, I'm definitely on for like a Negroni, um, or even like a Revolver. Those are
Mm,
kind of my go-tos. I like that coffee flavor, but also like the Campari, and anything with
mm,
Campari in it. I'm sold.
yeah.
Bring it on. Yum yum
Yeah.
yum yum yum.
Yeah, I think for like those espresso martinis, like that's I think that's a good starter for someone that's like not really like
Oh yeah.
if someone's not sure what they want or like they don't usually like cocktails, I think that's like a good like gauge to see if that's like I'm gonna go with that first and kind of gauge like what they like and what they don't like off of that. Indy.
Yeah, Indy's coming in to do us an inspection. Yeah, I totally agree. Espresso
Yeah.
martini, if somebody doesn't like it, uh, as opposed to the worst thing to give somebody that is trying a new cocktail. If they're like, I don't really like cocktails, don't give them anything with Campari in it or Negroni because it is a really specific taste.
Hmm.
And if you haven't had it, it doesn't taste like anything else. I'm like,
Yeah, I had to get used to it.
yeah,
Definitely, I think the first time I like I remember having it was like with you, and I was just like, oh, I don't know how I feel about this. Like initially, I'm like, oh man, I don't know how I'm gonna get through this drink, and then like after finishing it, I'm like, oh, this is actually really good. You know, like I could definitely. I don't think I could have like a ton of these, but I could definitely have like a
oh
few to
yeah,
start
it's a
start the
sipper. It's a
evening or
sipper.
something.
You definitely don't want to. be chugging the Negroni, But
No, no, no.
but yeah, I think those are some good ones. I like some
Yeah.
gin too.
Mm,
Um, you can do like any kind of gin and tonic. Put in some gin. Obviously, Negroni's gin, martini gin. But
mm-hmm.
I honestly I like some gin on the rocks or just gin neat. And
Mm,
if you're in the right mood, it can be really tasty.
mm-hmm.
Anything with ginger
Do
beer in
you
it
have a
too.
go-to like brand of gin that you
Oh
usually
gosh,
stock up on?
a great one I really like is Empress, and it's like a purple gin, which is cool, and so
Mm.
like it makes all your cocktails look really colorful, and
Oh.
you can show it people and you're like, whoa, what is this? You're like
Mm,
all the colors coming from the gin, but that's good.
mm.
Hendrix is really good.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had that.
um yes, there's some good ones out there. Honestly, you can get pretty good gin for like 30-40 bucks at the liquor store, and I'm like, this is a pretty good price for what it is.
Mhm.
And it tastes a million times better than vodka, but
Yeah, yeah. I don't think I'd like. I definitely could see myself drinking like gin, kind of straight up in that fashion. But
yeah.
yeah, I don't know, vodka. I definitely see that more as like a more of a mixer,
Oh yeah,
for
same.
some things. Um, but yeah, if you're just going for something straight up, I think gin is kind of a good avenue for that.
Absolutely agree. And let's we can do a little sip in here as we fire off into space, and
Yes,
discuss the
getting on a racket.
extraplanetary discussion.
Yeah. Well, I guess this is it's still planetary, I guess, but I it's seen it kind of go viral. So you're familiar with flat earthers? I'm
Mm,
assume and
yeah.
people that don't believe in the Earth being spherical and round. But there is this. I had never heard of him before, so I don't know too much on his background, but this guy apparently he was a avid flat earther, and he like had his own YouTube channel and was like pretty much dedicated to this. And someone like flew him out to Antarctica
Mm-hmm.
to try to like show him like, yeah, this is actually spherical. And he actually was like, okay, yeah. He went on the flight there, and he was like, oh, yeah, I'm wrong, sorry guys.
Wow.
So I just thought that was like, because I feel like most people that do that stuff are just like kind of like they're either just like trolling or just like in denial or
Yeah.
whatever. But for this dude to actually like admit that he was wrong, I thought that was
Although,
pretty
how do you
cool.
get that far in life and having that belief, and then you are able to have it destroyed like that? You know what I mean? That seems,
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I'm kind of skeptical about because I'm like maybe he was just kind of doing this to
and
like
this is a way
get attraction,
out of the
and
goof.
like yeah, like and just like have people watch him just because he's just spewing this nonsense and people will like entertain it.
Yeah.
So you always have to take stuff like that with a grain of salt. But shockingly, there are people that actually do believe, and it's just like
Yeah.
there's so many different
It's
little
wild.
experiments you can run yourself
Yeah.
to just show the curvature of the Earth, and
I
yeah,
do
it's
love
just like
there's like all these different, crazy side theories that go along with it, right? Like
mhm,
there's the Pac-Man thing about how if you go enough, you can pop up on the other side of the screen, right?
mhm.
The If you like fly around the this way around the world, they're like, why can you fly all the way around? They're like, well, because the world is flat, but if you go far enough, you teleport to the other side. And it's like,
Yeah, it's like a
oh,
portal.
okay.
It's like that portal game,
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
that's
Classic.
that's real life.
I do love. There's a whole thing about how Australia is not real, and
Mm.
it's connected to the prison colonies of England, right? And they were like, well, they didn't actually make prison colonies. They just took those people out to the ocean and drowned them. And they're like, but you can go to Australia. And they're like,
Oh
that
my
those
god.
are actors.
It's like I don't know. Have you ever watched the anime Hunter x Hunter before?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like that one the island that's like a video game, and it's just
Yeah.
like a bunch of actors that are like playing the part,
See,
and you could actually travel to this video game
right.
island. You
That's what
know,
they think is
it,
going on.
that's exactly what they think is going on. Maybe that's where they got the
Yeah.
inspiration for
Yeah.
that.
So
Um,
maybe that is the whole thing, but it is nuts. Like, how can there be people in today's world? Although I will say, it would be awesome if the world was flat. Like, imagine being like, you can't sail too far, or the boat's gonna fall off the world. It'd be like that'd be crazy, right? And
yeah,
we're just on a
that's just like
floating thing, and the yeah, it's
yeah,
just crazy.
that's kind of like an anxiety, like that would give me anxiety thinking of the world like that. Like
Yeah.
we're just I've seen like those like paintings or
Hmm.
whatever renderings of like it's just like us like a flat thing, and then we're still like orbiting, like everything else is spherical but we're this
Yeah.
flat thing because we're
Special,
God's gift to the world.
right?
So it's kind
Cosmic.
of like it's like we're like Asgard,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
that's what we are,
That's what I mean. Like, that'd be so cool. Like, that would be like a really awesome, I don't know, alternative place. Like, if you saw a giant floating island with people on it, you'd be like, "That's sweet." But uh,
Mhm.
but it is nice that we live on a sphere
Yeah,
in
yeah,
reality.
that's just like, especially if you're like, I'm sorry, there's so many different like phobias that could like, people it would like,
Mm,
just thinking about that. It does affect me, but I'm just like that. There's like people about like, have we actually even gone into space? Like all
yeah,
that stuff. It's like, all right,
yeah,
There's some things I think are valid. Of being like, is the conspiracy theories, and there's some things I think are like, you know are worth having a discussion on, but there's some things I'm just like, no, this is don't even like bring this up to me. You're just
yeah,
gonna make me mad, and we're just not gonna get anywhere because
yeah.
I think this way and you think this way, and it's not gonna get any it's not and nothing's gonna change,
Yep,
or at least in my mind it's not gonna change.
yep.
So
Every once in a while, somebody says something so bizarre. You're like, I don't even know where we go conversationally
yeah.
from this moment. So I totally understand that. Have
Hmm.
you seen this stuff about the drones flying around?
Yeah, in New Jersey, right?
And in Ohio now too,
Oh,
over by Dayton,
I
I
did not
think.
know that, and I know it
Yeah,
reached all the way
spread.
across Pennsylvania.
Yeah, no, I don't know anything about that more than that statement, but kind of spooky.
It's really bizarre.
Yeah,
Like yeah, I haven't looked into it too much too because I'm just like, is this just like people being like this? Is it just like people just flying drones, but like just someone flying their drone like across the city and stuff, and people think it's like
yeah,
just
but
someone
I
invading?
have seen videos and it's bunches of them.
Oh yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. Is like I've seen like recently, I've seen like so many different videos. I'm like, yeah, this is like a really weird
Yeah,
situation, but I guess that's just what the kinds of things that happen in New Jersey. It's just
well, and I don't think there's necessarily anything nefarious happening with it, but I do think that that could potentially be something we see more of as things, progress, especially because
Mhm.
we've heard for years and years and years about how delivery companies would love to have the drones deliver packages and stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
And
Amazon.
it's not a world, even like Uber Eats, right? And it's not a impossible world to imagine to go, oh yeah,
Mm.
you can't even go sit on your patio because there's just like 30 drones flying over constantly with delivering packages and stuff, and you're like, that seems like a terrible, eventuality,
Yeah,
but not totally crazy.
yeah. I think the drone, like, that's a cool idea. I just don't know. I don't know. Like most of the Amazon stuff I get like comes pretty quick already,
Yeah,
in the mail. So I just don't like if I have to wait a day for something, I don't. That's not that big of a deal unless it's like maybe you could have that service for things that are like you need them like right now, and you got to pay an extra fee for it to
yeah.
be like worth actually like having this
I think
system.
that's a
But
slippery slope. It's like
yeah,
one of those things like as soon as you start doing a little bit, it'll be more and more and more until it's everything. And then for real, like I worry about going up on like on the balcony here in the city, and then
mhm.
just you can't even relax out there because when sometimes it's quiet here, I can just imagine a time where there's drones flying around and it's because
Mm,
they're loud too, So
yeah. Yeah, that noise like kind of pollution, that's a big thing,
yeah,
That's something you don't really think. You think of like, normal pollution, but yeah, if you live in somewhere like generally quiet, like a suburb,
yeah.
that's going to be annoying, like cuz people get packages all the time
Well,
like in those
and
parts of the world.
even downtown, you
Mm.
can get away from the car noise stuff by going higher up. But if the drones are in the air, so
A drone just like breaks down mid flight and just
yeah,
crashes into
I mean
you and you just
that's
like are
totally
dead. Like that would
potential.
suck.
Coming through the window.
It's like
That
a yeah, Predator missile
oh man,
strike in Black Ops 2,
yeah,
or Hunter Killer Drone.
oh
That's what it's
man,
called. And yeah, you just can't do anything about it. It just hits
that
you
would
in
be
the head.
terrible.
Yeah. One thing I saw the other day, I just thought was kind of interesting. So when the SpaceX was starting out, they and they still do it to this day, but they would do their launches out of both Florida and Cape Canaveral, and then also in an Air Force base, I believe, north of Los Angeles.
Hmm.
Um, and but like recently, they've been like kind of transitioning these flights to Texas because they have like their whole like launch site down there, and they don't have to worry about like regulations with the with the Cape and with California, because like a lot of it is like they're at like these big Air Force bases and they're doing these massive launches, and it's like, how safe is that exactly? So like I think they're transitioning a lot of these launches down to Texas at this like it's just like random. I think it's like just random like little town. I don't even know if it's a town. I think it might just be in the middle of nowhere in South Texas. But I saw that they're trying to make this starbase a city now. So I won't. I'm just curious what they're gonna call it. What they're
X
gonna,
X Town.
if they can make it a new city. I don't even know. I don't even know how that happens. Like the logistics of trying to form a new
Well,
city in a state.
that stuff does happen, especially there's like a documentary about a Renaissance fair in Texas, and like the guy that owns the fair for 50 years is also has been mayor of the town because it like the town built up around the fair, and it's
Oh
like
my
the
gosh.
biggest one in Texas. It's a huge thing, and it is insane. The dude is like 98, and you know what I mean. He's been mayor for
Mhm.
forever, and he's king of the festival too. So it's like a
Willy
whole thing.
Willy Wonka over there.
Yeah, I mean, basically, and it's like there's a whole documentary about. It's called I think it's called Ren Fair, and they're like,
Oh,
how do
look at
we
that.
yeah, how do we pick the next ruler of the fair? Because if you become king, you also become the mayor of the town,
Oh,
which
that's
is
great.
nuts, right? And
I love that.
yeah, and the dude is like, I don't want to be give up being king. I love being king, and it's like okay, well, and it comes with millions of dollars too that you
Mm,
make, so it's like a pretty serious thing, but.
we gotta make a trip down to the Run Fair.
To the Texas Ren Fair.
Dude, that place is probably so hot, like
Yeah,
ridiculously
I
hot.
wonder. I didn't. I gotta look up to see when they actually do it. It's probably a fall thing, But
Okay, so it might be a little bit cooler, but
yeah, but who
still.
knows? Maybe they do it all year. Who
Hmm.
knows? Yeah, crazy stuff though happening. Yeah. If the drones take over, let's go back to Renaissance times and hide.
Yes.
But
What? Yeah, I would enjoy. I think I'd enjoy that for a little bit of a time, and then I'd be like, all right, I need my YouTube while I eat, kind of thing.
yeah,
I'm
fair
gonna be
enough.
like having withdrawals, like
Jester.
technology withdrawals.
Perform, or whatever video you watch on YouTube, right?
Mhm.
Perform NASCAR driving. I've never watched that, but
But
and
something along those
he's sitting there
lines.
going vroom,
I'm just
vroom.
watching like Kitchen Nightmares
Yes,
replays and have someone acting as Gordon Ramsay. He's just like,
yes. You fucking donkey, like,
"What are you, an idiot sandwich?"
and you're like Jester. The accent's wrong,
Yeah.
Or fast
No
forward.
food, no food for you for a week.
You know what actually is nuts talking about like, podcasts, YouTube stuff. I
Mhm.
cannot believe that because there's advertisements on podcast,
Mm.
sometimes, or like they'll do like ad reads and stuff. I
Mhm.
cannot believe that to this day, with how big podcasts are and with podcast, you see people getting like crazy deals right on Spotify and
Yeah,
stuff. And it's like, how can we still be at the point? It's awesome that the ads are not skippable. Do you know what I mean? It's like right now
yeah,
you can hit the skip whatever.
yeah,
Every other service you can't do that. So I
yeah.
wonder like how long we're gonna have that.
Yeah, I don't know because like I guess it depends because like if you're listening like if you're listening live, I don't
Mm.
know if the ads are different if you're listening live
Well, yeah, because then
compared.
if they're reading them, you probably can't skip.
Yeah,
But
but there's always some I get some ads too. If I'm listening live, it'll be like some of the like generated ones too, but they'll be different from like the
mm,
ones like thrown in the app.
yeah,
So yeah, I don't know. I yeah, like you said, I like being able to skip it because I'll just like kind of I'll like skip the ad until I can hear the
yeah,
person talking, and then I'll back it up
yep.
one.
That's
You
that's
know,
I love they got the like the forward is 30 seconds, but the back is
yes, the
15.
back is
It's that
15.
is
Yep,
key,
yeah, it
key.
works perfectly. It
But
works
yeah,
perfectly.
so like that's built into Apple. So like they know that people are doing that. So eventually
Hmm.
they're going to go, "Wait, we could make more money if you can't skip the ads or you have to listen to like 5 seconds or like YouTube,
Yeah.
right?" So it is kind of a crazy thing that we still have and we definitely are taking advantage of, and when that goes away, people are going to be pissed.
Yeah, that's when it's going to be worth cuz like I guess the ones I listen to like I'll listen to one like they'll have both it chopped up into like different segments,
Yeah.
but then also have like an hour long, of it.
Mm.
So it's like I don't know if it becomes that if it'll be more worth it listening to just like the whole hour or if it'll be worth it to
True.
listening to individual segments. But you know, I don't know. Like if I have to listen to ads, it's whatever. I could just like turn it down. But I
Depends.
really do prefer, not having to because it's just
Yes.
like
Uh,
it pretty much not doubles the time, but it adds maybe like
No,
a
so
fourth.
there are shows that have like 4 or 5 minutes of ads, in a
It's
row,
ridiculous.
and I'm
Yeah,
like, this is so hard to do
you're just
because
wasting your time with these ads because I'm not listening. You're just making me hit. You're just making
exactly,
me hit the
who is
button more.
listening to this? Unless
Yeah,
the only time I'll like kind of listen or like I won't immediately skip is if the person reads it themselves. If it's like the ones that other companies are giving them to play, no, that is 100%. I'll never listen to that ever.
yeah. Well, I guess then, like kind of what we said before, is it worth for these companies to try and advertise in this way if no one's actually
Yeah,
listening
so
to
I
it? I wonder if
wonder.
there are like stats out there about
Yeah,
how long you're actually listening to these ads,
yeah.
and the profit you're getting over that time.
These are questions to look into.
Hmm.
It's we can look into our data. Hopefully, we get stuff like that, and we're able to like see.
Yeah,
But I doubt it on the
yeah,
podcast.
yeah. Maybe next podcast we'll have an answer for you guys.
Yeah,
But
things to
like you
study.
said, I don't know. We'll see. But I will look into that Lake Erie thing though because that thing
Mm,
has been like kind of like flown around in my mind the
yeah.
past hour or so.
Which
That
part of
one's
the
on
lake is
active.
ours?
Yeah, I'm just gonna get a raft and get on the water
Sail
and just
out until they arrest you for crossing the border.
yeah, right. I'm like there was not a clear spot where it said
Yes.
it crossed over. So
So that's why I wonder if like all of the water is technically, international, right?
it's weird. Yeah, I think it's just they split it at a certain spot and it's just like oh you're saying like could you get like married out on the water like kind of
Oh
thing?
yeah, or like what?
Yeah, and
Why? Well,
I
why would you get married international? That seems like you're doing shady things, Alex. But
yeah that's the only reason why you would.
playing
It's like
poker out there or something.
yeah, what's the thing? It's like you can like I don't remember what the international thing is if you get like married out somewhere. I can't remember what the benefit is. I've seen it in so many different
Oh, is that
TV
a
shows.
thing? The marriage? I've
Yeah,
never
it's
heard of
like
getting married out there in Harriswater.
yeah, I saw a show where they did
Mm,
that for some reason. I don't it's like something I don't think real people actually do
yeah.
though. Just
Well,
like
no,
some
probably
some
not.
fantasy.
But you hear about people playing like poker or like doing gambling out on water
Mm,
because then you're like allowed to do it. But apparently that's a myth. But
yeah.
I don't think people care. But yeah,
Mm,
interesting to discuss and to look into for
mhm,
sure.
yeah.
Anything else to tell the our mighty listeners?
No, I don't think so. Maybe I was thinking, I'll be next podcast. I guess we'll have to discuss. It might be in person potentially.
Mm,
We'll have to see.
huge.
So we might have a little bit of a different, I guess, setup for
Yeah.
that, but kind of still like same stuff we're talking about, and probably gonna be the last podcast before the end of the year, I
Sure.
imagine. So yeah, maybe we'll do some things. I don't know. We'll see, like related to end of year
Oh yeah.
celebrations. So, but yeah, I guess you'll see next time what that's looking like.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, for today, no, I think we got some good discussions. And
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just excited to kind of get better every week
Oh
at
yeah.
this. And yeah, and I guess if you guys have any suggestions in the that you want to throw our way, we're definitely open for those too.
You
Because
can reach us at
yes,
the Instagram, which
yeah,
is Gravity Blues Pod, I believe.
yes,
And
correct.
yeah, so we'll start posting stuff on there. Get the thing.
Hmm.
I also like the idea. This is something that we'll keep talking about until we do it. But I like the idea of doing this live on and putting it on Twitch and like as we actually make the show. I think that could be cool,
Hmm.
depending on if technology is nice to us.
Yeah,
Uh, but that
yeah,
could be something
yeah.
down the road.
Yeah, and then maybe even after the podcast, we'd still stay live and
Ooh,
play a game
get
or
some
or
gaming
something
in
like.
here.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so if I guess if there's any games you'd like to see us play together, we could also check some stuff. I know we were gonna try out some Baldur's Gate
Yeah,
because that's finally crossplay, and I need to start getting into that. So
that was game of the year last year, and the
mm,
controversial thing game of the year this year was Astrobot, which
I don't I don't think I've
it's
heard of that.
yeah, it's like it's a basically it's a Sony game, so it's I don't think it's on Xbox, but it's a like Sackboy.
Yeah.
It's basically Sackboy, but it's a robot. I haven't played it, but I've watched some stuff. I'm like, okay, so Sackboy was also made by Sony, so they literally just repackaged the game they
Hmm.
made in one game of the year over the
What,
other
what I'm
options.
what I'm hearing what I'm hearing is that Sony should just focus in on the video games
Yes,
and
less
just
of the
leave the
movies.
Marvel movies off
Did
to the
did
side
they do
where they can't be reached.
the Spider Verse movies though?
Yeah, okay. We'll say like whatever this Sony Marvel, because this is like its own little
Yeah,
sector,
the
and then I think
villains.
the Spider Verse is its own kind of like how like even the Tom Holland Spider Man
Mm,
movies, like those are still technically Sony too. I think, right? It's like kind of like
it's a shared.
it's like a it's like a shared thing. So I think I can't remember about Spider Verse if it's the same
Is
way,
that so?
but
Is that Sony though? I can't remember if that's them that does those movies because those are so good comparatively, and it's
yeah.
like a
Oh, yeah. Not. It's not even close.
yeah.
Yeah. I think
So
they're not involved with
they're
those too
not just
much.
inept at making movies in general. They're just bad at making these
Mhm.
certain movies for some reason.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. These side quests, they're not doing too good at.
Well, good
So
luck to them. I hope that whatever they make next, who was it that we
is
said
watchable.
the giant beast?
The
Uh,
giant
who
beast.
was the giant beast villain that we talked about earlier? I don't remember, but I
Oh,
hope
Rhino.
no. We were in the villains thing. What was
Oh.
that?
The dynamite one or Lycanite or
Yeah,
whatever.
Lycanite.
Whatever.
I hope the next movie they make is the Lycanite
Lycanite.
movie. That's all I want.
Yeah, I'd watch that
I've been a
regardless of how
Lycanite
good or
movie
bad
since day
it
one,
is.
1965. So that's just
Yeah.
legit right there.
Yeah.
Lycanite or nothing.
We'll be there opening night.